Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the way that we can develop iPhone apps that can load the images. The image can be available in basically two locations within the iPhone device or anywhere in the internet available. So we will look at both of those. So bring up. So we're going to start from the scratch. So there is iOS, single view app, and next, product name. Then you can do EX3 March 20 and app image load. Okay, you name it. It's not really important. This is the location of your iPhone app developments. Click on the creates. So we will go ahead to work on storyboard. Okay. So this is a view controller. What I assume is that here's what we can do. We need to bring up the library where there are user interface icons available. If you want to use continually, then holding down Option key or alternate key and click on this. And I'm going to have text field. So we have text field here. And I would have a label, right? So we have a label here. And then there is a button. So button comes here. And one more. We have image view comes up here. Okay, and I'm going to, I think that's enough for us to demonstrate. In this label, I want to say enter login. Of course, you can have login ID, password, and the roles in your real implementation. Here we're going to look at only the essential small ones. Okay, so I'm going to increase this. And the button, I would say sign in. Increase that. Okay. The background, sign in. So in pink. And text color white. This I would make it a little bigger so that we can enjoy it a little more. All right. If you have more additional view controller, then you need to have a navigation controller and then create view controllers and then link them. But in this demo, we will look at only the image loading. So I think this is enough. What we need to do with this, we need to have an editor. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to close this right hand side, the utility pane, and I'm going to open up okay. So to push this a little bit there. So what we want to use from this user interface is this text and then button and image view. So those three components needs to be handled in this coding list. All right. So to do that, to connect it between your storyboard and then coding list, holding down Control button and drag and drop here. Then initially that is outlet. Here's a tip. This is a text field, so you better say TF and then login and then connect. All right. There's a button. So holding down Control button and bring it down. In this button needs to take an action in response to users clicking. So that name is, say, sign in. And then inside here, we need to do a little bit of the coding. For this, depending upon user's credential, we need to bring up the images, right? So control and come back here. And then when you say IB, there's an image viewer and login face. So now code. So scenario here is this. When this application is launched, then user can enter login. Of course, password and role names. You can add more. And then finally, click on login button. Then verify this user credential first. And depending upon user credential, you need to display the images. So in this case, for simplicity, I would say this TF login. So TF login, if that text, okay. So I would say if the text is the same as, I would say Yoon, okay, then I'm going to load to that IV login phase. I'm going to load that has images. That image should hold from the local place. Okay. The image should be located in this the layout structure. This is your the applications. There's assets dot xc assets. So click on this. So there is an assets, right? I have my the photo, so yun.jpg. I'm going to bring this up here. Then we have this is the real size. This is 2 times and 3 times, that type of things, right? So here is a tip, because I'm going to use YOON in my coding. So better to have YOON, the same, exact same name. Your login ID should be the same as your image names. Okay, so that image should be loaded. That image should be recognized by UI image here, and then that has named and string. That string should be the same as this tf login txt, right? So tf login dot t dot text, and then that should be the real. It's not, shouldn't be optional value, but real the explicit value. So we need to put here exclamation mark. This is for Yun. So if Yun is logged in, then I'm going to bring up a Yun's image here. Otherwise, in this simple example, we're going to use it from, we're going to bring it from the internet. It's not from local, but from the internet access. Okay. To bring it from the internet access, we need to modify this UI image view. Okay, this UI image view should be modified. In order to do that, this UI image view should be extended. You simply copy this. Okay, so there's the extension UI image view. So that definition is extended in this way. Particularly, one of the function needs to be extended. So with the URL, the URL type of URL is URL. Okay. This is a function. Function has a the variable name URL. That's from the already defined class name URL, and that is called from outside. When we send the parameter, then we use this. Okay, this is a local variable. This is the argument from the caller side. Okay, and then what happens here is that this is a controller. Controller is a one thread. iPhone apps supports multi-threads. So while this is running, accessing the internet, that is a different threads. So that thread is under this thread. This is a thread, multi-threading. So that should be whatever the image that we can fetch, that should be should be used from the outside of this thread. So to make it available, we need to use dispatch. Dispatch queue. and make it global, and then async. Okay. So you simply type that in, and then you can say if let image data. This is simply a local variable, and there's exception, and the data should be the content this URL, right? Contents of URL URL. Then URL is local URL. That's what we made here, URL. And then if another variable, if let image is UI image, and then data, then there is image data. That image data. So if this is available, then that is called the image, right? So based upon the URL given by user. If it is all available, then we need to dispatch queue dot main dot async. And which one it is synchronized? There's a self image equal image. Okay, this is extended, so we're going to use it. In order to use that, we need to first have the URL, right? So that URL is with the URL. So we need to first say my URL equals, within that we need to define the URL, and then here either if or guard is the same as if, as we have here. If let or guard let. Only difference here in this case, if we say guard, this is a little more safer. And then URL equals, no, URL type of URL. That should be URL of the string. The URL, we call that here my URL. So my URL. So we define the image URL using guard, because it is using guard. So we need to have else statements, and then simply return that. So we're set now. Then we have image here, IV login face, right? IV login face. and that has we already defined here load image, right? That's this method is the method that we defined here. There we need to put that URL img URL. Okay. So in this case, this is the remote image can be brought from outside, and this is a local image. So we need to enter here the URL, real URL. URL that I could have here is one of our sitesecure.org. So this is the image. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then I'm going to put here, Control B. So if it is Yoon, then Yoon's image can be searched internally, the local device, and then display it. Otherwise, we need to go to this particular website and then bring that up. Okay, let's try to run it. Let me go ahead. I'll click this triangle button. This is exactly the same as that we made here, right? So that is this, and this is a coding list. So I put here all lowercase Yoon, sign in, then that should access to this and bring that up, right? So we'll see, login, sign in, so that comes up here. If we put on the other hand, something else, say Mercy, sign in. Oh, here, by the way, and then there is an error, which is here, app transport security has blocked. By default, it is blocked. This device cannot go outside unless we work on this info p list. Okay, there anywhere, then you can say click the right button, then there's add row. There pick up that app transport security. Then here app transport security setting that comes up, right? And then click on this plus button. No, click on this. Okay, here allow arbitrary load. So click on that. So under this, we allow this. Currently, that is no. So we need to click that to yes. All right. So this is a set. So transport to security setting to allow arbitrary load. That's what this guy complains, right? And then come back here to, I'm going to show the coding list, and I'm going to bring up that and redo. Okay, so there's a mercy and sign in. So here is what I'm going to close this first, and then relaunch the program. That way you may understand. So if I say Yoon, small Yoon, then local image. If I say, why is that USA? Oh, here. So that is the same as this guy, right? That came up. All right, this is it.